Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Shataria here at Chicago Branch, Great Millstone, prophesizing the return of the Heavenly Father Yahweh and the Son Yahweh Shai. You all ignorantly call him Jesus, but his true and Hebrew name is Yahweh Shai. Coming at you with another lesson. But before I get started, as always, we're going to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekakadash. Double honors to our apostles and our elders here at Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Honors to the hopeful elect, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the biblical and true Hebrews of the Bible. Salutation to all the Akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity, the speckled bird, and all those whose lineage goes back to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, healthy Barakatah, and to the Akwaf, and those of you out there listening and learning, Shalom and Barakatah to you also. We got some history facts for you, Israel. They say they gave us the shortest and the coldest month of the year for a so-called quote-unquote Black History Month, if that's what you want to call it. But I got some history facts for you, and we're going to talk about Black exploitation movies, all right? Okay. History facts, Black exploitation movies, okay? The key fact about Black exploitation films, the origin and definition. I'm going to give you the definition of that word origin, okay? Defined origin is the point or place where something begins, arises, or is derived from. The definition of origin, okay? Again, the key facts about Black exploitation films, origin and definition. The term is a portmanteau of Black exploitation. Let's look up that word portmanteau, okay? I'm going to give you that definition too. Let's look up that word portmanteau.
Portmanteau.
Definitions, there's a couple of them. It says a large trunk or suitcase typically made of stiff leather and opening into two equal parts. Second definition, bingo. A word blending the sounds and combining the meaning of two others. For example, motel from motor or hotel, or brunch from breakfast and lunch. Okay? All right. So there we have it right there. Let's get back in here. All right. The key facts about Black exploitation films, origin and definition. The term is a portmanteau of Black exploitation coined by Julius Griffin of the NAACP in 1972. Like we really care about what he thinks, the NAACP, to describe the genres and tendencies to capitalize on Black audiences with sometimes stereotypical content, stereotyping Hebrews or Black Americans, okay? Today we're going to focus on major films and stars, notable iconic films that include Shaft, 1971, Superfly, 1972, Blackula, 1972. Major stars, included Pam Grier, Richard Roundtree, Ron O'Neal, William Marshall. Movies like Cotton Comes to Harlem, Sweetback, Badass Songs, Melvin Van Peebles, father of Mario Van Peebles. And we all know that Cotton Comes to Harlem, Calvin Lockhart, Red Fox, and a host of other black movie actors at that time. In Cotton Comes to Harlem, Kevin Lockhart, Red Fox, again, Sweetback, Badass Songs, Melvin Van Peebles, father of Mario Van Peebles, and those two movies are considered the pace setters, are the forerunners for the black exploitation movies today, all right? Cotton Comes to Harlem, 1970, I believe it was. And I'm pretty sure that Sweetback, Badass Songs, Melvin Van Peebles, that's 1970 also, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But I believe both of those movies came out in 1970, all right? But we're going to talk about a woman today, Vanetta McGee, who, in my opinion, was probably one of the finest, if not the finest actress in Hollywood during her time, okay? And we're gonna go into it a little bit. How we all know what you have to do to get these roles, okay? We all know what you have to do to keep getting these song contracts, okay? This music and movie industry, it's all ran and operated by the teeny boppers, the small hatters, okay? And you have to do all kinds of degrading things. I always tell you, we'll bring out a precept on that. I have a couple of videos that I'm going to let play, but she never got the notoriety. Vanetta McGee never got the notoriety or the prestige, the fame and fortune. Well, then none of them get too much fortune back then because they wasn't paying them nothing, okay? But she never got that notoriety or prestige that, to me, she had coming, okay? All right, so we're going to take a look at Vanetta McGee today, all right? And I have a couple of videos that I'm going to let play, all right? But before I play them, we're going to read the copyright disclaimer, okay? Let's read the copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright of 1976, allowances made for fair use for the purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing, okay? So without any further ado, we're going to let these videos play. I have a couple of them, and jump right in, all right? Let me see what I want to play first. Let's go here first.
60s and early 70s, films with an all-black cast. February is Black History Month, and ironically the shortest month of the year. Go figure. But I thought I would provide a history lesson regarding the blaxploitation genre. What is blaxploitation, you might ask? Well, for the uninitiated, when the motion picture industry was tanking during the latest turbulent 60s and early 70s, films with an all-black cast starring Melvin Van Peebles of Sweetback Badass Song made a decent amount of profit thanks to the unwavering support of black moviegoers. Hollywood then paid attention, but not before independent filmmaker Larry Cohen recognized the potential for black-oriented films, starting with Black Caesar, followed by its sequel Hell Up in Harlem. American International Pictures saw this opportunity to crank out a copious amount of these movies. While many were cheap exploitative grindhouse, check your brain at the door films, there were some that contained striking social commentary, especially during the post-civil rights era. Oh, and plenty of the films were labeled black, as in Black Six, Black Godfather, Black Gun, Black Shampoo, Black Gestapo, Black Mama, White Mama, Blackula, Blackity Black. This genre springboarded the careers of black directors, producers, and actors. Thanks to blaxploitation films, many acclaimed directors such as Spike Lee, John Singleton, and even Quentin Tarantino adapted the do-it-yourself guerrilla approach to filmmaking and went on to having well-established careers. When major studios such as MGM and 20th Century Fox jumped on the bandwagon, there was a severe pushback from black activists who found the portrayals of black protagonists, i.e. the Mac or Superfly, very offensive in an environment rife with pimps, hustlers, hoes, and drug dealers. CORE, which stands for the Congress of Racial Equality, lambasted the films and studios who produced and released them, forcing major studios to drop the genre altogether. No love lost from Hollywood, since they made quality films such as The Exorcist, Jaws, and The Godfather after recouping their losses. Despite being the catalyst for saving Hollywood from its downhill slump during the early 70s, unfortunately, after Hollywood is done using their tools, they break them. Lesson over. Class now dismissed. A morning dream, some paradise.
There you have it, Israel. That's what they do. That's pretty much Babylon, a.k.a. America. Bill Withers, use me until you use me up. And everything that this country was built and founded on the blood, sweat, and tears of Hebrew Israelites, my ancestors, okay? All right? And again, William Crane, pretty much director, of Blackula, is a pioneer for black filmmakers such as Spike Lee, John Singleton, etc., and a host of more. William Crane was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first black filmmaker, okay? And he paved the way for people like Spike Lee and John Singleton, all right? Okay, pretty much the same way Dr. J, okay, paved the way for Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan and all the other NBA stars who get these multi-million-dollar gym shoe contracts. And Dr. J opened the door. He said, I don't need no help. Just open up the door and I'll get it myself, all right? He opened up the door for these athletes to get these multi-million-dollar gym shoe contracts when he signed a big contract with Converse All-Star, okay? The first so-called black or Hebrew Israelite basketball player to sign a multi-million-dollar gym shoe contract, and he opened up the door for other individuals and sporting icons like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Allen Iverson, etc., okay? But we're going to talk about Vonetta McGee today, all right? And I got one more. I want you to see this here. And
if you think today was hard, try living one day in this man's life. Liam's had...
But her story is... It was heavy, deep, night-breaking. That's the way you ought to think about yourself. God knows the world is too full of hustlers and pimps, freaks, just plain old-fashioned losers. Anyway, it's nice to run into some soul for a change. Every last one of them. Hey friend, welcome to my channel Crane Elude, where we deep dive and break down the most iconic stars through history. If you're not yet subscribed, please be sure to do so, and if you're already subscribed, please turn on your notification bell so you never miss an upload. Now without further ado, let's get into this video. Today we are talking about none other than the gorgeous Miss Vonetta McGee. Many compare her beauty to that of Zoe Saldana and even Beyonce, and I do see it.
now, actually, Israel, they didn't hold a measure to how beautiful this woman here, Vonetta McGee, really was, okay? All right? So we're going to let it play.
It's like a little mix, right? But one thing is for certain, Vonetta McGee was an absolute knockout with brains to match, and she seemed destined for Hollywood greatness. She was born on January 14th, 1945 in San Francisco, California. Vonetta Lawrence McGee had everything going for her: stunning looks, undeniable talent, and a drive to make it big. But fate had other plans. Instead of becoming a household name, she found herself tangled in the wild and chaotic world of blaxploitation film. films, a genre that didn't always give black actors the credit they deserved. Vanetta's story started out as picture perfect as her face. She graduated from San Francisco Polytechnic High School in 1962, and her family had big dreams of her becoming a lawyer. She even started studying pre-law at San Francisco State College, but the courtroom wasn't where Vanetta's heart was. While dabbling in amateur theater, she got bitten hard by the acting bug. Forget legal briefs and courtrooms, Vanetta had her sights set on the big screen instead. Her family probably rolled their eyes, but Vanetta was all in. Before Hollywood came calling, though, she took an unexpected detour to Italy. That's right, this California girl packed her bags and headed for Rome in the 1960s, where Cinecittà Studios was churning out movies like a European Hollywood, okay? Many black actors and actresses moved to Italy during those days because the Italian cinema was very welcoming to black entertainers. Well, actually, Europe in general was very open to black creatives during that era, like France, Italy, the UK. It was very odd to see how America was treating creatives, but then they'd go overseas and they'd be like super famous. I did my video on Josephine Baker, you guys saw that, and many other vintage black Hollywood stars that I've done videos on, and even the black exploitation era, how they all, thrived overseas, but then America really mistreated them. What do you guys think about that? That was just so odd, right? It was a bold move, but Vanetta had never been afraid to gamble on herself. This was also after significant scare in her teens. She'd been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma at just 17, but she fought through it like the queen that she was. Italy turned out to be wonderful to her. Her big break came in the title role of the comedy Faustina, directed by Luigi Magni. It wasn't a box office smash, but who cared? She was making a name for herself. She was working in films and living la dolce vita. Soon after, her stunning appearance in Il Grande Silenzio caught none other than Sidney Poitier's eyes. The Hollywood legend personally requested her for a role in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, even though she wasn't even credited in the film. Hollywood always does that. But in Il Grande Silenzio was one of the first love scenes in Italy of a black woman and white man.
The love scene between Pauline and Silence is very powerful on multiple fronts. First off, it's a love scene between a black woman and a white man, a rarity in film at the time, let alone westerns. Pauline maybe doesn't even love Silence, but is rather reaching out in an attempt to replace the absence of her husband. It's shot romantically rather than obscenely. Pauline moves the encounter further here, rather than being controlled by Silence. Both of them connecting in their loneliness. It was uncommon to see a love scene this emotionally fraught in a western. This is a scene where Ennio Morricone's beautifully moody score really stands out, with its mournful violins and cascading vocal harmonies, surrounding Silence and Pauline in their moment of passion.
It was shot romantically, and many people overseas caught wind of it and grew interested in casting Vanetta. The thing with Italian cinema during that time, with its black actresses and actors, they didn't just put them in like black films. And you know what I mean by black films, like films where it was just all black casts, all black stories, this and that. It was mixed, and there wasn't no when they do that in the United States, even today, well, in this modern day, they don't do that as much. It's becoming less common. But back then, if it was a mixed couple in a movie, the whole movie would be around race. It would be surrounding race, or everyone would notice, or there'd be slick comments made, or this and that within the film. No, in Italian cinema, they actually just went on with their lives. It's like no one brought up her race, no one brought up her color, and that's how it was. Even with the darkest of skins, like women with the darkest of skin or the men with the darkest of skin, their race wasn't really a thing in those cinemas, and they allowed them to be the love interest or play roles that weren't demeaning or mammies, or they gave them dignity. So I like to give Italy some flowers for that. If you're Italian, you're watching, leave your flag in the comments. I'll give them their flowers for that, because they were opening doors for a lot. I've done a lot of videos of women that went to, I'll put the playlist of the blaxploitation stars and the vintage black Hollywood stars I've done videos for that got their they're starting in Italy. And even when I was in Italy, I was expecting for it to be really, weird, because you hear a lot of stories here in America. It's safe to say that no, they're not like that. They're very welcoming. They always was. So it really did open the doors for her, that the United States saw her potential. It's like, yo, she really is killing these roles in Italy. And she was making a name for herself, and people actually wanted to work with her, that Hollywood really started calling and wanted her to leave Italy so that she can come work on films here. But that was a big mistake. I personally would have, if I was her, would have just stayed in Italy, because Hollywood, like her first role, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, she wasn't even credited. And then after that, she went to be boxed in to only blaxploitation films, and that start was just, it was just a bad idea. The doors did start to open a bit wider after that, but not too much, not too wide, but the roles were a mixed bag. She appeared in the heist film The Lost Man alongside Poitier again, and scored a small role in The Kremlin Letter, a Cold War thriller directed by John Huston. But then there was The Big Bust Out, a trashy prison movie shot in Italy that did little to showcase her incredible talent. Europe had given her some decent starts, but it also came with its fair share of setbacks, especially when she kind of was turning her back on them, right? So then after that, when you're a star, you get a push, and you have this amazing film, you broke barriers, and your name's in lights, you gotta keep going, or else your hype will die down, right? Her hype started to die down when she was going back and forth. Though her early career was filled with challenges and a few questionable film choices, Vonetta McGee was nothing short of a fighter. Vonetta McGee was a star who never got the spotlight she deserved, but her story is packed with drama, romance, and a fire determination.
And there you have it, Israel. She is a star who never got the notoriety. She never got the fame, and she never got the respect that she deserved. Okay, like Jane Russell. Shirley Winters, who actually they say was a hooker, hooked her way through Hollywood, and other quote unquote white women. She never in music they always want to say the crossover. Never got to get in the MGM, Warner Brothers. She got one. You seen in a couple of films with Clint Eastwood, but basically she was tied down, okay, to this black cinema stuff, and that's because she had a lot of these stars, like you see. You just seen them talk about the banana lady. Was that Josephine Baker? A lot of these stars had to go over to overseas and get famous. A lot of your stars went overseas and made movies, like they say, in France and Italy, and became famous. Then these racist MFs here wanted them to come back, where when they did come back, like you say, it was a mistake. You see, they treated her like shit, okay? Wanted her to come back and star next side of Sidney Poitier, sellout. You know what all these sellouts do to get these fame and fortune roles, okay? And they said, it was another skit. I didn't even want to waste my time putting that one up, but they talked about how she refused to do these nude scenes and do this nude stuff, and the movie Blackula was a big breakout for her when she came back over here after doing 2 or 3 movies, hit movies over there in Europe, I might add, in Italy, okay? Came back here, like you say, trashy roles. She got one, maybe a few good roles, but never got the, notoriety or the fame that she really deserved, okay? And I got some scriptures I'm going to get into in a minute, but that's how they treated, blacks here in Babylon, a.k.a. America, all right? But that's neither here nor there. So we're going to get into this history facts, black exploitation movies, okay? And again, today we're going to focus on Vonetta McGee and major films and stars, notable iconic films, and that includes movies again like Shaft, which was in 1971, Superfly 1972, and Blackula 1972. All right. And that was her breakout movie right there in Babylon, aka America. Okay. She made movies with Max Julian, Josephine, and Bush Rod. She made another movie, but all caught up into the black cinema thing. She never got a chance to premiere, get those major parts where she played along actors, you know, Clint Eastwood, you seen her, and she played the airline stewardess in that movie there, okay? But let's go here. Let's and again, before I go there, William Crane, okay, he was a black producer, okay? And again, he pretty much pioneered the way for black filmmakers like Spike Lee and John Singleton, etc., all right? But let's go here. First thing I got right here, okay? 1 Timothy, and I want 1 Timothy 5:14. And 1 Timothy 5:14 says, I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guard the house, give no occasion to the adversity to speak reproachfully. Okay, all right? So first thing, like Corinthians 11:3 say, all things done decently and in order. She ain't got no business running around making no films. She ain't got no business running over to Europe. Then the only way she got a big break was to lay down with a white man. All right, lay down with Esau. And that after she laid down with Esau, that was her big break. Another film, like I said, another one I didn't play, but they showed her where she turned down a lot of roles because they wanted her to do degrading scenes, always be naked, okay? Always doing degrading things with Esau, okay? And fame and fortune comes with the price here in Babylon, aka America, okay? 1 Timothy 5:14, it says, I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guide the house, give no occasion to the adversity to speak reproachfully, all right? All right, so she's supposed to have a husband. She's supposed to be raising a family, taking care of the household, taking care of her man, taking care of her husband. But, you know, we've lost our way here in America, Babylon, a.k.a. America, okay? And they promote women being over men, all right? They promote this queendom, women's lib thing, okay? That's another lesson in itself, but that's what she's supposed to been doing. I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guard the house, give no occasion to the adversity to speak reproachfully. All right. So that's it. And instead of her doing that, you know, she's out trying to build an acting career, okay? She's out trying to mingle and dab, okay, in society, okay? Trying to fit into something that doesn't want her, all right? And fame and fortune, I always say it has a price here in Babylon, aka America, okay? Let's go here. Let's get this Proverbs 23 and we'll start at the top. It says, when thou sittest to eat with the ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, okay? And put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Okay, so when you sit down and who runs this place, first of all? First and foremost, when thou sittest to eat with the ruler, consider diligently what is before thee. And we all know this place is ran by the global banking elites. It's ran by the international bankers. Okay, we all know who run the film, the movie, and music industry. Okay, it's ran by the global banking elites. It's ran by the international bankers. Okay. And we all know how wicked and demonic these people are, okay, and what you have to do. Fame and fortune comes with the price here in Babylon, a.k.a. America, Israel, okay? Esau Edom doesn't give his favors away for free. All right. There's always a ulterior motive behind this. It's always a hidden agenda behind this, okay? All right. And I've said that several times, okay? Look at Tyler Perry, all right? Hey, well, he gay anyway, but every time you see him, you don't know he dressed up like a woman, all right? That's what you have to do. They want you to do these degrading things, okay? This may be before your time, but look at Flip Wilson, one of the most talented entertainers in the business at that time, came up with all kinds of skits and scenes and short plays. The only thing he's remembered for is dressing up like a woman, Geraldine. And this is what they do, all right? That's why fame and fortune comes with the price here in Babylon, a.k.a. America, okay? All right? And if they give you something, they want 10 times more back than what they gave you, okay? They want your soul, because in order for you to get this here, you know, we're going to give you this part, all right? You're going to get the part, okay? But we're going to give you 26 episodes, okay? But now half of those episodes, 13, 14 of them, we want you to dress up like a woman and wear a dress on them, okay? This is Esau Edom and his mindset, what he does, okay? All right. We're gonna go a little bit further. We're gonna give you these episodes, okay? But shit, if you're a man, you see what they did to who was the guy, Vin Raines, when he played in that movie with John Travolta? He got butt broke on national TV, got butt broke in front of everybody on the camera, all right? These are the demonic and wicked things, degrading things that you have to do. Fame and fortune comes with the price in Babylon, a.k.a. America. Let's go a little bit further. Jennifer Hudson, okay? See what she had to do, right? She had to sacrifice, okay? It's gotta be a blood sacrifice, all right? It's a mercy killing. Dang, it's a mercy killing. Had to sacrifice her whole family, nephew, mother, aunt. I think there was a lot of them they killed, okay? The sacrifice, all right? And that tied into that Leviticus, okay? It was that Leviticus 20, if you get caught giving your seed to Moloch, okay, you have to be killed, okay? That's in Leviticus 20th chapter, where it says, if the Lord catches a man giving his seed to Moloch, you're supposed to kill him. And if you don't kill him, the Lord gonna turn his back on you, all right, and your family as well. But Proverbs 23:1, when thou sittest to eat with the ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. So if you give in to these demands, if you give in to these wicked demonic things that they want you to do, you done played ball with them, you done got in bed with them, Lord tell you might well put a knife to your throat and kill yourself, okay? It says, labor not to be rich. Cease from thy own wisdom. Say, cease from thy own wisdom, okay? And labor not to be rich. Proverbs 11:4 says, riches profit not in the day of the Lord's wrath, okay? Let's get that. Proverbs 11:4, and it says, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death, okay? So this money not gonna save you, and you doing all these things, you selling yourself cheap. Actually, you selling your soul. That's what you're doing, okay? You're losing your soul, okay? And she never got those big breaks, but again, she got that role in Blackula because I don't think it was William Crane, but Joseph Tenar, one of those other small hatters, kept on calling for, and they got romantically, inclined, and this how she got to where she was, sleeping around with white men, okay? Sleeping with the enemy, okay? Sleeping around with Esau, all right? Because fame and fortune, it has a price here in Babylon, aka America. It says labor not to be rich, all right? Okay. Let's go back to this Proverbs 23. And it says, labor not to be rich, cease from thy own wisdom, okay? Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are a deceitful meat. It says, when thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. And his dainties are the cars, okay, the riches, okay, the prestige, okay, the clothes, okay, the fame, the notoriety. They are deceitful meat, those dainties, and that's really just the crumbs off his table you getting to begin with, okay? When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee. And we know the global banking elites, again, that's who runs this place, all right? They run everything. They run the movie. They run the movie. They run the movie industry, the music industry. They have control, complete control, and you have to sell your soul for, do something strange for a little change, all right? That's what you got to do. All right? So that's what got her notoriety, sleeping around. He said, she slept with a white man over there. That got her a big break. She came back here and started flirting around with, I think it was Joseph Tanar, one of those producers on the set of Blackula. It became intimate, and she got drugged deeper and deeper into that black exploitation thing, and never, so to speak, crossed over. Never got the big plays in the cold movies where it was black and white stars, But again, like I say, most blacks actually had to go overseas to just get noticed. And then once they got big over there, Babylon, aka America, wanted them back over here just to sabotage and fuck over them, okay? Basically is what they did. Let's go here. Where do we want to go? Let's get this Mark. Let's get Mark, okay? And let's get Mark 8. Let's get Mark 8 and 36. Mark 8 and 36, and it reads, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul, okay? So again, fame and fortune, it comes with the price here in Babylon, aka America, all right? For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul, okay, Israel? You see what I'm talking about? Huh? You see what, man? Luke 6. Let's get Luke 6 and 24. Luke 6 and 24. Luke 6 and 24. And it reads, Luke 6 and 24. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. So if you're seeking the fame and fortune, okay, if you're seeking the cars, clothes, money, hoes, if you're seeking to be rich in this present day evil world, okay, then that's your reward. You get the consolation prize. You don't get the main prize, which is the kingdom, to see the glory of your Lord, your Savior, because you sold your soul, all right, for filthy lucre. This is the place where you do the Romans 12. At the top, we make our bodies a living sacrifice, okay? We want no part of this place, all right? Because we just gave you Proverbs 11:4. Those riches don't mean shit in the day of the Lord's wrath. They profit nothing, all right, Israel? And the money, the toilet paper, is worth more than the money. You might as well use that for toilet paper. The American dollar ain't worth nothing no more. That's going into another lesson in itself also, I might add. But Luke 6:24 says, but woe unto you that are rich, you have received your consolation, okay? All right, so that's your prize, okay? You get the worldly prize. You don't get the blessing because, like I said, we know who runs this place. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. They cover the faces of the judges thereof. If not, who and where is he? All right, and who is the chief judge? The main judge, Yahweh Shai. And his name has been covered. They calling him an earth pig. Jesus, that's what that means, earth pig. Then they done covered his face, all right, with a blonde-haired, blue-eyed devil. Our Savior don't look like that. His name was crossed out. Tell you that right there in Revelation, okay? All right? So that's who runs this place. It's given into the hands of the wicked, Job 9:24. They cover the faces of the judges thereof. If not, wherein who is he? All right, Daniel 4:17. The Lord set up the basis of men to run this place, all right? Let's get that one. We'll get that one. Let's get that Daniel. Let's grab that Daniel. And it says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. So these people running this place are, they're Lord and Lord. They're the lowest of the lowest. Lord and shit, really, all right? These people are the worst people in the world, and he set them up over it, all right? Only for a temporal time, though. It's just for a moment, all right? Weeping endure for a moment, but joy cometh, all right? Joy cometh, okay? All right? But where do we want to go here? We'll get ready to go here, and we'll close the lesson. Let's go here. And we'll get ready to close the lesson. Lord will, it was edifying through the Spirit, Proverbs, and we want Proverbs 28, and we want Proverbs 28:6. It says, better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich, okay? He says, whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of riotous men shameth his father, okay? So it's better to have a little bit and walk in uprightness than have all these riches and glory, you know, these trends, these fads, you know, this present day evil world, or should I say temporal, because it's slated for destruction, okay? It's better to walk with a little, okay? Hey, than hang with these perverse people, though they be rich, all right? Okay? I didn't say it enough. Lord will, the lesson was edifying. That's all I have right now. In closing, I like to say, Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, rise Israel, rise in a Bible bowl. Until the next time. History facts, black exploitation movies. Lord will was edifying.